Okay, hi, good morning, everybody. This is Elizabeth Mendenhall, and we're here for another great session of Remax Live. Ford is in jury duty this morning, so you won't see his shining face, but you got me and also our featured guest, Nobu Hata. I am so super excited to have Nobu with us. He is absolutely one of our shining stars, not only at the National Association of Realtors, but in the industry. He is a good friend. He is a wealth of information. Okay, hi, good morning, everybody. This is Elizabeth Mendenhall, and we're here for Okay, there we go. We'll turn that off. But he is absolutely got so much going on. He studies, he reads, and he is absolutely dedicated to helping us make our business better. So welcome, Nobu. We're glad to have you this morning.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So first, I kind of want to ask you, I mentioned that your title is at NAR. You have a brand new title, which is the Director of Member Engagement, which is wonderful because Nobu travels all across the country. He visits different conventions for not only franchises but offices. Again, I mentioned he studies up on our industry. But prior to NAR, Nobu, tell us your experience in the real estate industry because I think it's a great story.
Well, I got into real estate around my sophomore year in high school, 93, 94-ish, and my parents caught me making fake IDs and parking passes for my buddies, and they said, hey, you need to use your powers for good. There's a real estate brokerage that needs some help getting online, doing design work, marketing work, and everything was just starting to go online back in the early 90s. And I said, hey, you had to build websites, go and work for these guys for the summer and see what you can do. And from there, it's just kind of history, and then real estate ever since.
How long were you selling?
I sold basically by the time I was legal, 18, 19, to July of 2012 in multiple states. So Alaska, Washington State, California, and Minnesota, where I met you, and got into the leadership realm of things, and got into the NAR envelope right after that.
That's awesome. And I mention that, of course, because Nobu was an agent, practiced in the business, did what you do every day, understands buying and selling, and so I think it's a great, unique perspective that he brings to his new position at NAR. So tell us again, tell us exactly what your role is and kind of what you do on a day-to-day basis.
So basically, I'm as close to a brand ambassador that NAR has got. So online and off, anything that's happening at NAR, I message it so that it makes sense to the member, and I message it to them and share the information with them both online and off in person. So really, it's kind of making sense of what's happening in the real estate industry and making it make sense to the member and putting it in their own words. So talking to realtors is a very unique thing. We all have really short attention spans and need to get information as quickly as possible, and that's what I specialize in.
Awesome. I want to remind all of you that if you have any questions during our hangout, if you want to tweet them to hashtag RemaxLive, please do, and we'll be checking our Twitter feeds. And you can also, put my name in it at EJ Mendenhall or also at Nobu Hata.
Mm-hmm.
So there are tools, obviously, that the National Association of Realtors has. Many of them you have developed and had a hand in that I know are focused on agents' business. What do you think some of those best tools are and that an agent should utilize?
Well, the easiest way to go about kind of engaging with NAR, everything online, and the tools that are there is to figure out what you need, and that's the thing with realtors that sometimes is lacking. It's trying to find something at a whim when sometimes you just need to think about your business a little closely and go, okay, there are resources for that. For me, it really is kind of figuring out what kind of realtor geek you are. If you're a numbers guy, if you're a research guy, if you're a PR or political guy, there's a whole bunch of resources that are there. I love the quick hits of information on the field guides. The field guides that are available for anything from marketing to millennials all the way to using NAR research in your business are all there. I love the Washington report. Again, just quick hits of information there. You can just bookmarking them is something that is easy to do just to get an idea of what's happening at the political level in D.C. RPR is fantastic. There are a lot of different things that you can use on Realtor.org to get your business rolling. And really, almost anywhere where you're paying dues, you know what I mean, is something you could go to first to figure out where to get some good information for your business. But to me, it's those quick hits of information. The political report, the Washington report, the field guides, and RPR. All those things are to me, day to day, are invaluable to agents' businesses.
Gotcha. Hey, Nobu, I got a message that says for some reason they can only see me, not you. So just want to check and see if you've got a setting or something on there to maybe accept the camera because it's showing, now I see your picture,
Yeah,
but now I see you on the camera. Hmm.
yeah, it's showing up for me.
You're showing up and you're showing up for me. So
Hmm.
I see you. Let's just double check and I'm going to turn your camera on and off and just make sure that you're back on. Why don't you talk and try it again? Yep, I see you just fine.
Yep.
Well, let's hope that that solved our problem. I'm sure they'll let me know real quick here. But keep talking and we will keep getting the good information from you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yes, the quick hits of information that are out there. Just check them out. Go to realtor.org and do some searches, and then don't be afraid to go hit your local associations as well, and check out all the resources that are there. The economic research reports are also available. I'm a numbers guy when I was an agent, so those are the things that I used, and I would urge any agent to go out there and do the same.
You know, it's, when you mention the research reports, they are absolutely, in my mind, some of the best things that are out there. You know, everybody is always looking for newsletter content. Everybody's looking for things they can, you know, tweet about or post on their social media page. I think I read a publication recently where it said that one of the most clicked on things are guides. And they are like your homemade guide that you can post on a regular basis, whether, you know, you're using Hootsuite or one of those things to really provide some good content to everybody.
Totally.
So what do you think, what is one thing that an agent may not know about the National Association of Realtors?
Well, one of the things that I realized when I got into the leadership end of things was how big the industry is. We, while real estate is very local, there is a 30,000 foot perspective of real estate that unless you're kind of in it, you don't realize it's there. It's all working behind the scenes. And it's massive how big it is and how impactful it is to people's businesses. And the nuance that's there, and this is why I urge any agent interested in being more involved in the industry. It's figuring out what kind of geek you are, figuring out what kind of passion you have in the business, and then really acting on it. You know, from professional standards all the way up to the political realm. I think most agents would be shocked to hear that we're getting involved in things like net neutrality, which seems like a very tech-heavy thing, but when it comes to delivering information online, what's more real estate than what we're doing right now? So it's a huge machine and seems unwieldy at times, but man, when we get it right. And as you know, it's hard to talk about those things sometimes because a lot of folks just aren't involved with it day to day. But just realize that hey, there's a lot of things going on, and it's all about you and your clients and your business, and it's a pretty cool thing to be involved with it.
Okay, so Nobu mentioned earlier that we've known each other. One of the reasons I am super excited to be a volunteer and to continue on my volunteer path at NAR is because I know Nobu's on the other side of it, but we're also on the same team. And I mean, what you just said is so spot on. I had one of my top agents just came back from the REMAX convention last week, and one of the things they mentioned is just the global presence of realizing how much is happening, with the portals, whether it be Zillow, Realtor.com, whether it be, people talking about a national MLS system that are affecting our industry now from so many different points because we are in a global presence. And, that's one of the reasons I love being a part, and, it's our REMAX Live, so I get to say this, but being a part of REMAX and being a part of that national organization. But it's also something I know that as we stay on top of it can help our business of our agents because they can grow learning exponentially from things all across the world, not just in our own backyard anymore, which is fun, exciting. Okay, so what do you want to learn more about this year? All education's always good, learning more is always great. What's on your radar?
For me, I'm looking at things like what NAR and what Realtor.com and really what everyone's talking about right now in the industry. It's the impact that millennials will play on this business. And the funny thing about it is that we've been talking about millennials now for the last couple of years, waiting for them to become pivotal parts of this business, and both on the buy and sell side, and then within the business itself. Um, to me, it's figuring out how all of those idiosyncratic tendencies of millennials, because they're very fickle, just like everyone else who's connected to the internet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, how that is going to affect long-term relationships online and off for realtors. I truly think with the way everything is happening online, the way information is evolving and it's getting more accurate, it's getting more useful. Where the realtor comes into play is going to be a huge thing going forward, and to me, that's what I'm studying the most. Talking about it in lead generation and marketing and industry trends context. To me, it's going to be a very cool conversation, and it interests the heck out of me about how folks will impact the business, and I think it's going to be over the next 3, 4, 5 years that it's going to happen, and now's the time to start preparing for it. Beyond that, it's talking about at the end of the day how people still impact this business, and that no matter what, realtors need to just extol their virtues and their value and their trustworthiness to people more now than ever before. And how to do that is going to be evolving, whether it's online to off. To me, it's going to be a very, very fun time in real estate over the next 5, 6, 7 years, and now it's time to start preparing for it.
You know, I couldn't agree more. And I remember about 5 or 6 years ago, I was in a class, and someone of a different generation than me made a comment. They said, "We've always talked about generations. Talking about generations isn't anything new."
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely disagree with that comment, because I understand why they said that, because it always is something that we've kept our mind on. But with 70 million baby boomers, then we drop down to 30 million Generation Xers. Now we're going back up to 80 million millennials and Generation Y. It's that group that's now coming through the home buying process, and they're getting ready. You know, yes, they're buying later, and there's been the discussion of whether or not they still value home ownership, which we know they absolutely do. They've been renting, but they're getting ready to move into that home buying era and phase, and that's a lot of people who are going to need housing, affordable housing, and they're going to need and want a competent real estate professional, and the majority of how they operate is online. So it's such an opportunity to really get a hold of, and I think we're going to see some new shining superstars in the real estate arena take hold of that and evolve into that next generation of leaders along with them.
Totally.
Yeah. So what do you like? I mean, I remember once I was in a class with Lori Janik, who used to be our legal counsel with NAR, and she made the comment that the thing she liked most about realtors is that if it benefited their business, they would absolutely change. And she said, people say they won't change. She goes, realtors will change and do anything if they think it's going to benefit their business. What do you like most about the business and most like about being surrounded by realtors?
In general, real estate is one of the last bastions of entrepreneurship out there right now. I mean, you can literally do whatever you want to do and be successful at it. There's no one way to be a successful realtor. There's no one way to be a successful broker or manager. And what I would urge anyone to do is to get out of your comfort zone and stop being so derivative and do something that's different from your competition. And if you do that, that's where innovation comes from. And that's where that change that you and Lori just mentioned comes from. It stems from entrepreneurship and filling a void where, man, you just can do that in real estate. Just get out of your own way, stop being so derivative, and do something your competition is not doing. And that includes anything that's online, those portals and everyone else. Do what they're not doing, and you can be successful at this. My wife just started in this business and was successful last year, doing the things that Chicago realtors are not doing. And it's amazing to watch her entrepreneurial spirit just kind of grow from that. And now, man, it's a great thing it's a great time to be a realtor. and it's a great time to be in this business because, man, they're the good ones. The people that love you, they will shout to the heavens for you, no matter how long you've been in the business or how short you've been in the business. Just be you and be entrepreneurial in some way and challenge yourself, and you're going to be okay.
So on that note, your wife is in the business, but you obviously study up on a lot of things. Where do you learn things? Where do you find new information? Where do you think the best resources are for an agent who is looking to improve their business and do something outside the box?
Yeah, I love anytime you can surround yourself with people that know more stuff than you, the better, right? So I love hanging out not only with agents who are kind of coming up in the business, but the top producers out there who have something to share, and they will share it because their business is just elite. I'm also lucky to have the luxury to be able to go and venture outside of the industry, and even consumer centric. I'm learning from whether it's retail, whether it's grocery stores, whether anything that's consumer oriented, I'll study. I'll go talk with those guys. It's amazing the social media aspect of things where you can go in and engage with folks that are out there. But I'm gonna tell you, as an agent, what I did more than anything was engage with my clients. I realized pretty quickly that the clientele that I had was pretty awesome, and they had something to share. And everything that I would ask them questions during the buy sell experience, and if I learned something or if I saw a trend, I would put it in my business right away. So if you don't have to venture outside of your city or your state to learn stuff about it. And man, it's a lot of fun to be able to go out there and learn from people who know more than you. Seek those people out.
Well, and I think what you said is such a great point, is that we have clients who really want to be interactive in this process more so than ever. They've got more data than ever, but they also know they need assistance with that, and they can be your biggest advocate. They can be the ones who can help you, share with you what they liked when they found you or what they may want. And a lot of times they are in businesses who are trying to improve their sales techniques as well in similar manners that we are, and they know the market and know the landscape and can be a really good resource.
Totally.
So Nobu, what tip would you give somebody who's a brand new agent?
Compete against yourself as much as you can. Find something to hold yourself accountable, whether it's a person in your life, whether it's a goal that you have, and hold yourself accountable to those goals. To me, figuring out your business plan and your marketing plan is going to be key. And the easiest way I used to do it was taking my calendar from the previous year and then copying and pasting all the pivotal moments in that calendar into the same days in the new year, and I would compete against myself that way. So I knew how many people that I met, I knew how many open houses that I held, I knew how many listing presentations I went on, and to try to better yourself incrementally along the way is the best way to meet your goals. And seriously, I mean, the best app in your phone right now is going to be your calendar. And if you can go out and use the technology that's out there to compete against yourself, to make yourself better, man, your business will go far that way. Stop with all the shiny toy objects. Figure out how your business and your marketing works first, and then implement something new every year as you develop.
I was recently at a class and somebody said the best way to profitability is to use what you already have and not buy something different. I thought that was a good message. But you also are talking about technology. That's one of the things you specialize in. What are some apps, or some software that you kind of think are something that an agent may want to consider in purchasing or putting into their business?
Yeah, I think more than anything, understanding technology is going to be huge, and you don't need to use it. Frankly, I'll go on record by saying that you don't need to use it and be over the top with it, but you need to understand the technology that affects not only your business but your client's experience as well with you. So to me, anything mobile, I think your iPhone or your Android device, invest in something that makes it so that you're productive in a Starbucks. Two, if you have one thing going in your business, it's a website that is mobile optimized. You don't need an app. What you need is a website that is optimized for not only a desktop experience, but somebody going on and looking at it from their mobile devices, whether iPhone or their iPad, and that is cheap nowadays. Um, After that, it becomes pretty cool things like e-signatures. I would make sure that my business has got everything on tap for the e-signatures because it's amazing how quickly those have become a standard. And little things beyond that is anything information centric that makes sense of the noise online. So if you're using something like Zeitgeist, the app that takes census data and puts it into your phone, or RPR, for instance, anything like that that allows you to make sense of the noise for your clients, you're going to be okay. And frankly, anything that you use, what you need to ask yourself is whether your clients are going to care or not that you're using it. And if they say yes, keep using it. If they say no, if you say no to yourself about it, then you probably shouldn't be using it. You're wasting your time.
Very cool. So you're getting ready to head off. Where's your next location?
I'm going to move today. I'm going to talk some realtor code of excellence stuff with those guys, and then AEI to talk about some emerging technology and leadership trends that are happening out there. So we're going to talk about drones and net neutrality. I'm going to talk about how agents are using and misusing the web. Things like Craigslist scams and third-party portal scams that are out there. So it's going to be about engaging with your association leadership now over the next week or so, which will be fun. Ratings and reviews is going to be a thing going forward, so make sure that you have your reputations handled. That's a little spoiler alert there. But
I mean, talk to us about that a little bit and your thoughts on where that's going to evolve.
yeah, I'm looking at the way the rest of the world works right now online. It's less about what you say about yourself and more about what your clients say about you and the experience that they've had. So, if what I'm doing today that I've not done before is something that I can relay to you, it's making sure that you have your reputation nailed down. So, start up an account on Zillow if you don't have it. Start up an account on Realtor.com and Trulia, all the portals. But don't forget about Yelp. Don't forget about Google. Set up an account with your business name on it and make sure you're there because as Google starts changing their algorithms more and more, they're caring more and more about what your clients say about you through reviews, through recommendations that are posted online. So it's going to be hugely important going forward. It's a lot of fun to talk about, but it's also very uncomfortable conversations with many. But get that stuff nailed down. Your reputation is the last thing that you have that you can hold close to yourself. Don't let somebody else monetize it for you.
Very cool. Anything else you want to share to us as we kind of wrap up today, or any final thoughts on where you're headed or where you think the industry's headed?
No, I'm good. Just plan ahead. If I can urge everybody to do one thing, it's start planning ahead and think 2 or 3 business cycles out and prepare as much as you can for whatever comes your way. It's going to be a lot of fun in this business over the next couple of years.
Well, very cool. And we are excited, of course, that you are involved in our industry. I want to encourage you to kind of keep an eye out for anything at your local association, maybe anything at the state association. We just had several agents come back from the RE/MAX R4 convention, and I know that we'll have a lot headed to the NAR convention, which will be in San Diego in the fall. And if you see Nobu on the schedule or at an Explode or any tech conference along the way, I'd urge you to stop in. He's always got something new and exciting and kind of on the cusp of what's coming up. So we are so thankful to have him today on RE/MAX Live, and we appreciate it, Nobu. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bye-bye.